Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Deluxe Class Perceptor from the Transformers Studio Series 86 line from Hasbro. So since all of these characters are from the 1986 classic Transformers the movie, they are all designated as 86, but then they kind of have a sub number here, so you can see Perceptor is number 11. Really nice artwork of Perceptor here on the front. Turn around to the side, we get a close-up of Perceptor's face. Over here on this side, just the same picture of Perceptor from the front. Not really too much going on the top or the bottom of the packaging. And then here on the back, we see the robot mode. Of course, we see the microscope mode. He also has kind of an official third mode, which is kind of a tank mode, which we'll take a look at. And then it shows him with the backdrop down here. So, pretty standard packaging for this line, but it looks really good. Love the artwork for Perceptor. I'm going to go ahead, get him out of the box, and we're going to take a closer look. So here's Perceptor with the backdrop that's included, and as we can see, it is that scene very early on in the movie during the attack of Autobot City, where Perceptor is communicating information to Ultra Magnus. This is the same backdrop we saw with the buzzworthy Bumblebee Studio Series Cup, but it makes a lot more sense for Perceptor because he was actually in this scene as Cup was not. So I get why they just wanted to reuse the backdrop, but it totally makes sense for Perceptor because he was there. Taking a closer look at Perceptor, he looks really good. Honestly, this is pretty perfect. Really no kibble whatsoever. I thought the one we got in Titan's Return was actually pretty good, but this one looks like it leapt right out of the movie. It is really, really close to the animation model and looks absolutely fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and tilt this back. You can actually move this to the back if you kind of unclip it, just because it casts a lot of shadow on the head. But they did a really nice job. The expression he has is a little weird, but for the most part, I think they nailed the head sculpt. The paint applications are fantastic. The metallic blue for the eyes, the silver for the face, really, really sharp. And the head's on a ball joint. It can look up a little bit, look down, really not that much. Side-to-side movement, no problem. And then you can kind of tilt a little bit to side, but not too much. This piece on the back here, which is the lens or eyepiece of the microscope, you can kind of dial this back. You can have this come all the way up as well. You can hear there's a really nice ratchet there. You can see the kind of piece of plastic right here that causes that. But so he can kind of move it around a little bit. I mean, for the most part, you're just going to leave it down. If you want to angle it up a little bit, you can. Unfortunately, you can't really rotate it side to side, which is a bit of a bummer. But it's definitely just meant to kind of hang there on the side. And it looks like it has lenses in there, like you should be able to look through it. But it's really kind of difficult to see anything because it's so narrow. But it looks like you should be able to see through it. Nice Autobot symbol there on the chest underneath the chest plate here. Arms are pretty blocky, but exactly how he looks. The dials do not move on his arms. They're just painted. You can kind of see underneath that it's all molded in blue and then they're just painted on top. But it looks good. You have nice movement here in the shoulder. You have this ball joint, which works really well. You have a bicep swivel. You have 90 degrees in the elbow. You have no waist swivel because this is all kind of molded into the torso piece here. You can kick forward, kick back, kick out to the side, no problem. You can see we do have an extra knee joint there, which I'll get to in a moment. Thigh swivel right there. This is obviously for the transformation, but you can get a decent range of motion there if for some reason you would want to make it look like he has rickets or something. I don't know. You do, of course, still have a knee bend there. And I would say over 90 degrees there in the knee. And then he does have ankle tilt as well, which looks really good. He also can move the toe a little forward, but that's really for the transformation, but it can be done. And then he's got a pretty standard blaster there. Nothing really remarkable, but looks pretty good. But yeah, on a whole, I would say Perceptor looks really great. Like I said, very, very close to the animation model. They did a really great job recreating him here. I think this is probably going to be the definitive Perceptor. I mean, it just really, really looks absolutely fantastic. Not that there was a lot wrong with the Titan's Return one, but obviously Perceptor is not really a headmaster, so this one's a little bit more faithful. And just overall, I just think they really nailed the look here. Really, really looks nice. The transformation is very basic, as you might expect. You're going to start by just kind of taking the head, rotating it around 180 degrees, and then you're going to come around and fold it into this cavity. That is the one problem. He does have this large empty cavity here on the back. It would have been nice if there was something they could have covered it with, but it's not a huge problem. But that's going to go ahead and just rotate right into the torso and clip into place. Then we're going to take the arms and kind of pop them down. You can see this blue piece that kind of connects onto the shoulder there. And so we're going to drop that down, and that will free us up to move this piece up. But first we have to bend this at the blue hinge up like that, so we can then drop it down onto the center. And you can see that there's an empty spot here. This piece is actually going to lift up, and this large tab here is going to tab into that big tab slot right there. And so that's going to kind of keep that in place and really sure that up. So then we're going to kind of bring the arms down a little bit and rotate them around on that ball joint. Kind of straighten out the arms if you don't have them that way already. Rotate the fist into the forearm. And a really nice touch is that they did paint the inside of the fist so that it matches the rest of the forearm here, which I really like. And then this is just going to rotate up. You can see that there's a large tab right there, and that's going to pop onto that tab slot right there. So this is just going to kind of drop down and then click into place, and then that's going to tab in there and shore that all up. So doing that again, spin this around, straighten out the arm, fold the fist into the forearm, bring this joint down till that clicks into place, which will allow you to click that into place. And there you go. That's pretty much the entire top section of the microscope. You're going to come down now to the legs and just kind of fold the legs straight forward like this. And then you're going to go all the way out on the hip joint there. Then you're going to use that weird kind of second knee joint there to bring this piece in, and then just fold the toes down. Very, very simple transformation. And then you're going to take this chest plate, and this is going to drop down. And then you can kind of angle this up. And there you go. There is your microscope mode. I think it looks great. Like I said, it's very simplistic, but Perceptor has always kind of had a really simplistic transformation. But it works. I think, you know, the dials are in the right spot. I wish they turned, but it's not a big deal. This doesn't turn up here either. It's just painted. But you can kind of move this up and down if you really want to. You can kind of move this up around. So you have a nice range of motion there. But it works really well. It's very simple, but I think it works. If you want, you can attach the gun like to the arm here or on the side of the leg, anywhere that there's a peg hole. But yeah, for the most part, like I said, it's a simple transformation, but it looks really good. Now, I did mention that he has kind of a tank mode. The transformation for this is very, very simple. Starting from the microscope mode, you're going to grab the hips here and kind of rotate this down. Not a full 90 degrees, but pretty much all the way. You can see that there's a little tab here on the side of the arm, and then there's a peg hole here on the leg. You're going to just bend this backwards on that same joint, and then just kind of line this up so that peg's right in there. And then you're going to do the same with the other leg. Bring this around, kind of tab that in, and that's it. There you go. Now you have the tank mode. That's very simple. You can see he's got the tank treads here molded into his legs. Let me make sure I have this lined up correctly. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the tank mode. There's not much to it. They recommend pegging the gun here to the side to kind of just give him a little bit more firepower. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not buying this for the tank mode. He is always a microscope in the show, so I want him to have his microscope alt mode. But it's neat that they threw this in. I mean, there's not really much to it, and the transformation from one to the other is very simple and very quick. But if you want to give him some kind of tank mode, it kind of works. I mean, if you really wanted, you could probably... Let me move the gun, because that's probably going to get in the way. If you would rather pop this off and close this up, and then you can kind of close that back. If you don't really like that backdrop there, you can do that as well, so you do have that option. But the official version has that sticking straight up the back. But yeah, that's the tank mode. I think Perceptor looks fantastic. I mean, yes, he's a little basic. He's just kind of a humanoid robot that kind of sits down and becomes a microscope. But that's how the G1 toy was as well. I mean, the original toy wasn't really much better. And it works. It's what he is. It's what we need him to be, and he pulls it off. I think he looks fantastic. It looks like he jumped right out of the movie. The colors are great. All the detailing is fantastic. I love the head sculpt. The paint applications on the head really, really look sharp. I love the Autobot symbol, the chest plate, the microscope. It all really, really works. I have two minor complaints, and they're really not that big of a deal. The facial expression. It's just not 100% right to me. I don't know what I would change it to, honestly. The weird grimace is just a little off. It's not bad. There's not a problem with it. I just feel like I would have liked to give him a somewhat different expression. I don't know. It's just the mouth, really. The mouth just seems a little off. The eyes, the face, the head all look fantastic. Just something about the facial expression with the mouth is just a little off to me. Again, not a problem. It just feels a little off. My only other real complaint has to do with the lens up here. I wish you could kind of turn this side to side. I wish you could kind of dial it back and rotate it side to side, because sometimes he would kind of use it as a gun and move it around. So that's my only complaint. But it locks in well. It does cast a lot of shadow on the head, but that's not really the toy's problem. That's just how light works. So not really much you can do about that. But honestly, I really like this a lot. I love that he's no kibble on the back, which I mean makes sense. Again, I don't love the empty cavity here. I wish they could have covered that a little bit, but I don't really mind. It's on the back, so it's not that big of a deal. Overall, I really like them a lot. I think they did a great job. Like I said, the Titans Return one was pretty good, but I think this one has even far surpassed that. And he has that unofficial tank mode. It's nothing to write home about, but hey, they threw it in. It's purely extra. I don't need it. I didn't ask for it, but it's there. It's fine. So I like them a lot. I definitely recommend them. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.